I love having my thumb on the pulse on the market throughout Canada. So today I have Mark on. He specializes in Kelowna, and we're going to talk about the real estate market there. So, Mark, thanks so much for being here and introduce yourself. I know you're a realtor in Kelowna, and I would love to hear about the market there and how you're doing and how you're staying busy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deanna. Absolutely. So, my name is Mark Drelich. I've been a realtor for just over a year now. I service Kelowna, Central Okanagan, North Okanagan, and South Okanagan. The market's been very, very interesting insofar as real estate is concerned. Typically with a balanced market, you look at about 6 months of inventory where, buyers are putting in their best shot and maybe going into multiple offers, and sellers are getting maybe a fair price for what they want. But what we've seen in 2024, at least in Kelowna, with all the introduction of new taxes, new rules for Airbnbs and that kind of thing, we've seen a lot of product hit the market. Some of the stuff hitting the market without people really wanting to, but having no choice. They paid so much for it during COVID, got such a great interest rate, now they can't afford it, so they have to sell it. And buyers just getting really spooked out and worried about okay, well, if I buy this house and I see the price is going down, is the price going to go down even further? So 2024 was a bit of a slower year for sellers, and sellers that did try to sell and that were successful in selling. Many of them who bought during COVID lost money, and even now are losing money on what they purchased.
Wow.
From the buyer's perspective, I mean, it's open season, so for the buyers that were a bit savvy and maybe had a little bit of funds to play with, including some of my clients, they got some really good deals in 2024.
Fantastic. And what about 2025? I know now, just kind of going off topic here, didn't Kelowna try or talk about reversing the Airbnb ban? Has that changed things for Kelowna? Is it a better market in 2025?
Yeah, so 2025 was expected to be a bit of a better market. The government was slowly lowering interest rates. That was great. The trajectory was that 2025 would be a better year, but then there was the threat of tariffs, so that spooked people out quite a bit. And to answer your question about the Airbnb situation and reversing that whole law that BC made, I don't see it really making much of a difference, because the whole idea was you had a savvy investor who owned 10 condos and he Airbnb'd them all and made a ton of money. Now he's got to put long-term investors in there, and that's not going to cover the mortgage that he's
Long-term
paying. The whole
renters,
idea,
yeah.
yeah, that's what they're making the money off of. So the rule in BC was, okay, you could have one Airbnb in your primary residence. So even if you own 10 condos, but you're going to Airbnb like one of them, it doesn't really work. Now, that ruling for BC that you can have one Airbnb in your primary residence, that was made even stricter by the city of Kelowna that said no Airbnbs at all. And now, yeah, they're in the process of rolling that back. I believe there was a motion that was passed in January, and it's meant to be for May, but I'm not 100% sure if it's locked in yet. But even so, I don't expect that to be like, the shining gold ticket that everybody's looking for.
What are buyers talking about? What are sellers talking about in terms of what's happening to our neighbors in the States? So the threats of tariffs, it's kind of like a little bit of a tariff war right now. Are people spooked? Are they just more careful? I know the rates are coming down, so that's good, but is that enough to push them into buying or potentially selling as well?
Well, that's a really good question. And to answer your question, it's a bit of both. So I think the thing with tariffs is not so much, the tariffs are happening, the tariffs aren't happening. I think a lot of it's just the uncertainty. And that's what I'm hearing from my clients over and over is like, what does that mean? And I'm not like a global economist. I don't know. All I know is that people are scared. So the first thing people do when they buy a house is they want to know, well, there's two things really that come into buying a house that will encourage buyers to go and make the purchase. Number one, low interest rates. They need to be able to afford it. But number two, there needs to be that genuine belief that I will put in $1.5 million into a home, and I truly believe that 10 years down the road, it's going to be worth more. Why would anyone want to buy a depreciating asset? Now, of course, people need a place to live, but then maybe they dial it back, maybe they scale it back on what they live in. Okay, you know what? We're not unsure of what's going on. Maybe we stay in our townhome for another few years. We're unsure of what's going on. Maybe we don't get that luxury property. Maybe we still stick with something a bit safer, if you will. So we're seeing like a market of townhomes that are actually doing decently well. Townhomes under 750 are chugging along, but luxury homes, not so much.
So, what are the prices like in terms of like affordability? So, we have your condos, your townhomes, your homes, kind of what are the average? And then, of course, the luxury market goes from there. But for the average buyer, what does the kind of like average home sell for?
Yeah, absolutely. An average home in Kelowna is it's roughly around the million mark. Every month it'll just like dive right above, right below. It's like 1,000,007, 1,034,000 or something. But if you can come with $1 million, Kelowna, there's a lot of options going to be available for you for single family homes. And if your budget's at 750, even 600 to 750, you're going to get a variety of different townhomes that could possibly suit your needs. And then for condos, there are just so many condos on the market, and condos are a tough sell. If you're not priced really aggressively, your condo is going to sit for a really long time. And for all those that bought 2 years ago their condo at a premium and expecting to fully Airbnb it out, those prices have dropped dramatically. So I'd say for condo, if you come with 300,000, you'll get like a studio. But if you come with even 400,000, you're going to look at a one bed, one bath, and then it just goes up a little bit from there.
So I feel there's a lot of opportunity for buyers that are regaining their confidence in the market, maybe for a condo or something like this. If there's a seller that needs to really sell, if there's a lot of product on the market, this might be a great opportunity for buyers to buy into a condo right now and maybe capitalize on a really, really awesome deal and hope for the market to go up, of course, because through history, like if we go back in history, the real estate market's always been good. We've had fluctuations. We see things going up and down, but it's always been really, really great. I know a lot of my investments are in real estate, and a lot of my clients as well, of course, being a realtor. So it's nice to see that. So yeah, we're struggling right now. Things are kind of up and down, but long-term investment, if you can hold on to that property or a stepping stone property, let's say you want that house, but this is an amazing opportunity to do a little bit of a stepping stone purchase, buy the condo, get yourself an amazing opportunity, a really good deal, start paying into your mortgage instead of somebody else's mortgage. So you've been in Kelowna for a number of years now. You're loving life there. You're loving your real estate career. Tell us a little bit about your story. I know you've traveled a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I moved to Kelowna in 2020. I actually moved like a month before COVID, right at the beginning of 2020. And everyone's like, it's the winter now, but it's going to be great in the summer. And even the winter's nice. And then like a month later, everything shut down. I was like, this is just so depressing. But eventually that all went away, and Kelowna is amazing. Yeah, before I got to Kelowna, I was actually a radio show host in my prior career for about 12, 13 years. And I also spent 3 years traveling the world, which was a lot of fun. I took a little bit of a hiatus. So I went to 70 countries around the world. And I've been to, I believe, every country in Europe minus four. And
Wow.
a bunch of the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, South America, Central America. If they've got Coca-Cola there, I've been there. But I don't drink Cokes.
That must have been life changing, though. To travel that much, to be so well traveled, it must be completely life changing. Changed your views on everything, probably.
Yeah, a lot of it was about kind of how people react in just day-to-day transactional scenarios. I would say like here it's very normal to just go over to somebody like, "Hey, how's it going?" It's like that's like a throwaway sentence. Like I actually don't care how you're doing. You don't care how I'm doing, but
Hmm.
it's pleasantries, right? Well,
Yeah.
you go to a lot of places in Europe. If you say how you doing, expect like a full answer. And like you go to like the supermarket, they'll just tell you straight up, "All right, the price is 225, right?"
Hmm.
But here it's like, hey, how's your day going? Okay, great, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, your total comes to 225. So you miss a lot of that pleasantry stuff in the beginning, and when you don't understand it, you're going to Europe like, wow, this person's rude. Why are they not asking me about my day? And then you realize it's just throwaway stuff. So little things like that, and like very very cultural differences, if you will. But it's helped, I'd say, even insofar as dealing with various clients and understanding that where they come from, they might have a certain style of communication, and like I get it. It's just
Hmm.
adjusting to that.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And what is your favorite things to do in Kelowna? I mean, after traveling the world, I don't know how it compares, but favorite restaurants, favorite things to do. Let's say somebody's going to visit. What would you suggest for them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this place is incredible. I mean, I first came here, I was like sea doing in between, like on the way from Kelowna to Penticton, and like on both sides you had the mountains, and it reminded me of Switzerland. This place is incredible. So if you're coming here and you've got just a few days and you are an outdoorsy person like myself, that's one of the big reasons and attractions to living here, visiting here. I would say two key mountains to hike would be Knox and Boucherie. So you're still in town. They're like literally in town. You can get like a nice little workout in the morning and not have to go all the way out. If you want to hike any other mountains, I mean, we're in a valley, so there's mountains all around. And then in regards to places to eat, there's this really cool vegetarian place called Frankie We Salute You. It's I believe it's named that because the two owners, both their grandparents were named Frankie, and they both served in the war. But either way, they're like these incredible vegetarian place, so good. I think they're like one of the best rated in North America, and the stuff you try is just so unique to like what you get at any other standard kind of restaurant in Canada. Like they've got like watermelon sushi and then some sort of interesting toast on a Reuben sandwich, but it's not meat. Remember, there's no actual meat here, and they get so creative with their food. So I highly recommend
Love it.
checking that out. And then yeah, just the nature is incredible. You know, even rent a kayak and just go around on the beaches and stuff. You'll have a
And a
lot of
lot
fun.
of incredible wineries. I don't know if you drink or not, but I've been through those, and there's just so much fun. And yeah, the eating, the restaurants, the pubs, like it's an incredible place to be. That's for sure. So you definitely landed in the right place there. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And Mark, are you willing to do these a little bit more often with me? I'd love to get kind of more real estate updates on Kelowna. I like to keep my thumb on the pulse on the real estate markets throughout Canada. So I'd love to do that again, and we can kind of do this again and share it with the audience. Cool.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Anytime, Deanna. And I can't believe that I forgot wineries. I actually don't drink, so I'm usually the DD, and I'm just taking people around. But yes, we have over 120 wineries, and maybe the next one, the next podcast we do, will be at one of our
That would be
wineries.
amazing. Fantastic. Awesome, Mark. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thanks so much, Deanna. I appreciate it.